Hi, my name is Matt Cosma, and this is a video just to tell you a little bit more about me. I'm going to be talking about how I came to Christ and how I was called to ministry, and really just a few other things about me. As far as my testimony goes, uh, I was raised by Christian parents who always kept me in church growing up, me and my sister both. For the first part of my life, we went to a Lutheran church, very high church. I learned a lot of reverence and respect for God there. They definitely held the Bible in high esteem, and so I absorbed those parts of the Christian faith. Um, I'm not sure if I was really born again during those times. I felt like I had a love for God, but I'm not really sure if I had a regenerate heart. Up through about fifth grade, we went to this church, and then some other issues happened, and eventually moved on to a Baptist church, which was really a mega church, and it was a bit different than what I was used to, but I liked it. I liked the passion and the preaching and the music, and it was just different. Uh, the problem was I didn't really connect with anyone my age group at the church. I didn't. The youth group was really cliquey, so I just didn't really connect. I spent most of my time hanging out with my friends who I grew up with from school and just who were in my neighborhood. And I was really close with those guys. Towards the end of middle school, I started kind of getting into all the silly stuff that young people get into. I experimented with smoking and drinking and some other stuff, and really just kind of got into some bad things. And it was nothing so awful that I couldn't come back from, but I was kind of living this double life where I was going to church on Sundays, and on Friday nights I was getting drunk or partying, and uh, didn't really see a contradiction with it. Didn't at all. And God got a hold of my life. One night, I was partying with my friends and just thinking everything was fine, and God, just clear as day, spoke to me and said, "Matt, what are you doing? You can't do both. You gotta decide what you're gonna do. What is the course of your life gonna be?" And I don't think it was really until that moment that I really considered what I was doing. And so at that point, I recognized that God was right. I wasn't looking for Him. I wasn't asking Him if my life was lining up with what He wanted. I assumed that I was living fine. I remember telling my friend, uh, describing my Christian faith at this time, "I'm a strong Christian. I just don't act like it." And I believed it. It seems silly to me now, knowing what I know now, but God grabbed a hold of me and changed my life. And from that moment on, I really started repenting and just laying aside all the things that were going on that were leading me in a wrong direction. Uh, and I really started getting involved in my youth group. I had learned to play guitar by that point, and I got into the youth band, and I was just set from there. I got really plugged in. I started attending lots of small groups, serving in ministry, going on mission trips. I just had a passion for Jesus. I was inviting kids in my school and my friends to youth group like crazy. I was seeing people get saved. Um, I was pretty bold in sharing the gospel, maybe a bit too bold at times, but Jesus totally changed my life. Didn't mean I didn't still struggle with things, but totally transformed me. I came to a place when I was about a sophomore in high school where there were some people in my youth group who were talking about full-time ministry, a call to full-time ministry. There was just a handful of students who had gone on a mission trip or done this or that, and they were speaking about that, saying they were called to full-time ministry. I ended up asking my youth pastor what that meant, and he told me it was somebody who feels led by God to do ministry as their profession. They give their life and totally to that. So it's not something they do just on weekends or, um, that is their job, so to speak. They feel called to that. And I started feeling this passion in my heart about it, and really considering it, and thinking about what else I wanted to do. Um, and I really came to a place where there was nothing else I could see myself doing. That really serving Christ and teaching and leading and actually being like my youth pastor was all I wanted to do. So I surrendered to a call to ministry when I was in between my sophomore and junior year. I went to a camp, and during one of the services, I bowed out and prayed and surrendered to God. Immediately afterwards, I began really plugging in ministry. I think at that camp, I started a Bible study, and it was awful. I was full of zeal, but not knowledge. But I was passionate, and and from that time on, it really just kept on going. Ever since I felt that call to ministry and sensed it, I did ministry. all throughout high school. I served as the leader of the worship team that we were in at the church, and uh, did other things like that, volunteered for a lot of things. As soon as I graduated, I went over into our middle school department and started serving there as a lay staff. Then I became an intern and went off to college and went to a church and became the youth pastor's second-hand man. And ever since then, I've just been doing ministry. And I've only doubted it on those days when things go bad, when like every pastor does. But any doubts never last very long, because I know that God has called me to ministry, and that's what He's prepared me for, and that's where He uses me best. A little bit about myself. My giftedness is really more towards understanding and teaching. I love the Word. I can sit in my office for hours and just study the Word and meditate on it, write about it, pray about it, blog about it, prepare messages about it. I just love that part of it. I gain understanding pretty easily from that, and I love communicating it to others. I also like meeting with people. I love meeting in small groups. I especially love one-on-one. I could spend my entire week pretty much just meeting, having coffee with people, and meeting in small groups, and then studying and teaching. There's obviously other things I have to do, but really that's my sweet spot. I love mentoring. I'm mentoring a couple college guys right now. I love working with youth because it's such an exciting time. It's a time when God spoke to me. It's a time where God changed my life. And so He has given me a passion to work with that age group. And it's really interesting because I like working with middle school, high school, and college, because they all present different challenges and they come with different views, and each of them are transformational and foundational periods of time in a person's life, and it's just an honor and a blessing to be able to work with people in those age groups. So that's a little bit about me.